Hello Internet, this is Bone Carlos coming to you live from, I believe this is Ohana? I could be wrong though, I'm not quite familiar with all the names of the maps, but here we are in the beautiful beachfront setting, waves over here. But really that's not important, because what is important, we're going to be taking a look at the players. It's going to be Sog spawning as the red Zerg. His opponent is going to be Requiem spawning as the blue Terran. Both of them having fun, both of them thanking each other. And as you just saw, yeah, it is going to be a PVT. I lied, it's going to be a TVZ. I'm still kind of mulling over this burger I had earlier, so all my stuff is just kind of wired incorrectly, but we're going to go ahead and give this a shot and see how it turns out. And of course we see Requiem just going to go ahead and do the safe, obvious build by a Terran. Just going to go ahead and wall off his front up against a Zerg player. And right now it looks like Sog isn't really decided to do much yet. He's just saving up the minerals, droning up. Nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary for both players, but really that's just because we're in about a minute and a half in. Nothing too crazy can happen. But this is one of the newer ladder maps for this season, and I think a new season is coming just around the corner. I believe the lock is coming this weekend or the weekend after that. But I actually do enjoy this this map just because it is fairly easy to secure your natural. There are destructible rocks here at the back door, a nice wide open ramp at the front, and then very easy to take your third, no matter what race you are, as long as you do any kind of as long as you just stay on top of your game. The fourths and fifths are a little bit difficult, seeing as how they're kind of out of the way, but the fourth is fairly easy to secure if you do attack along this path as well. This fifth over here is just a little bit out of the way and just awkward. So if you follow the natural progression of expanding, and which is what Requiem is doing, he is expanding on 16. No barracks just yet because, well, Sog doesn't have anything yet either. He is getting an extractor already down for him and a spawning pool following it up. So we're going to see a basic, looks like it's going to be a basic speed lane play very, very soon. And Requiem is finally putting down his barracks, but his command center is about halfway done. I would say about 30%. So very interesting play, very quick expansion by Requiem. So I'm interested to see exactly how this plays out. He's completing this wall off at his main ramp, and Sog is going to go ahead and finally see if he does manage to scout off the entire. Yep, he does finally see it. He's going to immediately put his overload over and see what exactly is going on, while Requiem just puts down a refinery back at home. So if I were Sog, my lips would be salivating just a little bit. I mean, this barracks is just about done. He's going to be able to pop out a couple of Marines very quickly, but wow, no queen as of yet for Sog. But he's going to go ahead and take his third. So instead of doing any kind of early aggression, Sog is just going to go ahead and take a quick third, and why not? There isn't going to be any kind of aggressive attack coming anytime soon. The second refinery is going down, so it's a bit interesting. I wonder if he's going to go ahead and follow up with some sort of techie play, maybe cloaked banshees or something of that nature, because these are very quick refineries, especially if you're just trying to do a quick expand like he just did. No bunker yet at the front to do any sort of protect, but I don't think he's scouted anything else just yet. Nope, he just scouted the initial scout, pulled back his SCV, put it back on the Zelnaga tower, and just watch for anything too crazy. He's putting down a bunker right here just to make sure there's no Zergling run by into the natural expansion or SCV lines, as it were. But yeah, so right now it's just a lull in the action because, well, both players decided to expand fairly quickly. And like I was saying, looks like, ooh, Requiem does spot this third, so he knows what's going on. He knows there's not going to be any kind of attack coming soon, so he's going to just feel a little bit safer, maybe get a little bit more greedy with his play to do something just a little bit different than he normally would. But like I was saying before, third expansion is fairly easy to get. The fourth expansion, again, very easy to get. But if both players follow the natural progression of expansion, you'll be expanding here and your opponent will be expanding this way. Of course, that's just the natural quote-unquote progression that can happen. Usually it does. It really doesn't. And I would actually like to see Sog take this fourth fairly quickly. I mean, go bold, go bold. Take this fourth, start spreading that creep around, and you have yourself 4 very quick bases. While Requiem is just sitting back, he does have a tech life. He is researching. It looks like the plus 10 life combat shield for his Marines, which I don't know. For me, I would say that he's going to go Marine heavy if he's researching that instead of concussive shells. But then again, concussive shells aren't really that great against a Zerg. Nice little extract over here, minding his own business, not being mined. Well, another extractor is being put down at Sog's third base, but still, queen. There's only two queens in here, one for the main, one for the natural. No third queen up yet, and he could definitely afford it. And it looks like he might have popped down another queen. Nope, not just yet. But he is building a lair. Already has a Baneling's nest up, so if he wants to do some sort of Baneling bust, he's gonna go ahead and have his ability to do so pretty quickly. And see, Requiem is really cutting back a lot on that drone production. He does have plenty of SCVs here at the main base, but nothing so much over here at the natural. And it looks like he's going to push out with these SCVs and a little ball of Marines, but not just yet. He's going to wait for this next batch of Marines, and he's going to push forward a nice little SCV push at around the 8-minute mark, especially when you're not expecting it. And if Sog doesn't see this coming, he doesn't have anything on the field. He has the 2 queens, hasn't built a single Zergling quite yet, but I think a couple of were picked off, since there is this Marine that does have some sort of damage. And this attack is going to be very, very brutal for Sog. He has nothing in terms of defense. He's putting up a spire, but nothing is being produced. 8 Zerglings are going to be produced, but if they are built by the time this attack happens, it's wait to be seen. He did build 20 more in immediate response to this aggression, and he manages to pull the Marines back, and it looks like the Marines focus firing down on that queen, sees these Baneling conclude being morphed, says, oh, gotta go. This queen does manage to survive with only 46 HP. These bunkers are furiously trying to get done. The Banelings are on the field of play. They churn through most of the Marines, but the bunker is down. They are safely encased in it, and the second queen does go down. It looks like Requiem is going to go ahead and push again. With his aggressive tactics, it looks like he's going to push forward, do as much damage, and if any kind of aggression from Sog does happen, he's going to go ahead and fall back into the safety of his bunkers. So a nice little bit of a bunker rush. The Zerglings do pop out. They try to get a nice little surround, but they are just on move command so far, and Sog just pulls them back home. Again, unloading and unloading these Marines, just being as annoying as possible, taking any kind of units that he can at his leisure, and not overcommitting too much is a great play by Requiem. These Banelings are being morphed in, and as soon as they are done, it's going to be very interesting. We see in a couple of reinforcing Zerglings are on the field, but they are going to be taken down very quickly by these Marines. If these Banelings are just gonna push forward, they finally do push forward, take down 2 of the bunkers, a couple of handfuls of Marines, but that is just too many Marines to be able to destroy by that little amount of Banelings. Finally, the drones do get into the fray. Zerglings are going to mop up what's left of this Marines, but reinforcement Marines are still streaming across the map. They're trying to nibble away at this bunker, but it is no-go. I do believe all the SCVs have been destroyed, so the repairs cannot continue. But the damage was done. This is one of the first big mistakes that I see Requiem did. He did manage to lose 3 or 4 of those Marines very quickly, very easily, just because he micromanaged that engagement. But otherwise, other than that, very well done by Requiem. He's doing plenty amounts of damage. He's pushing forward, and it looks like Sog does manage to get us around, does manage to block off most of those Marines, and another... There it is. That Baneling finally does take down that last bunker, and Requiem is forced to go home. Without those SCVs there to repair that bunker or to build additional bunkers, it is high time to head home. So, wow, that was a lot of units that were killed. Taking a look at the workers killed was about, I would say, about even. He did lose those four initial SCVs, and I think a couple more were brought in, so that was all the workers killed. But units killed, definitely in favor of Requiem's by 102, actually. So good for him on doing that. I don't know, I'm not sure if he canceled that Spire to give himself some extra minerals or extra minerals during that engagement, but Sog takes his 4th after that initial push. He's already retaking his 3rd, but at the same time, ooh, looks like a pack of Zerglings managed to catch that working SCV building, that command center, delaying it for that much further. So good for Sog to immediately go back on the offensive, make sure nothing too crazy is going on there. I'd actually like to see, with this high amount of Marine action, I would expect to see Sog go straight into Infestor play. I mean, he does have the ability to do so. He already has his lair up, so he could just use one drone, build that Infestor, and those fungal growths will just decimate that that marine ball. But we already have siege tanks being produced by Requiem. Siege mode is almost completed, and continuing to do that double research at the engineering. We already have +1 attack, +2, +1 defense is probably going to come up any second now, along with stim pack. So an infestation pit does go down for Sog, so very good for him. A couple of fungals is going to stop that entire force very, very quickly, especially with doesn't have any medevac support. A starport is not on the field just yet, so those infestors are going to be the linchpin in Sog's army to be able to deal with these attacks. Requiem finally does manage to take his third, and this single Zergling is going to go ahead and get killed. Poor little Zerglings. Three more are going to go ahead and push forward, going to try to take down this Marine and say, nope, wait, maybe, oh, no. This entire squad finally comes back. This 3 HP Marine is hanging out, saying, I kind of need some help, and those evolution chambers finally pop for Sog. So let's see if he immediately begins researching out of them. But so far we see a macro hatch in the main infestation pit already done. No infestors yet being built. So I would actually like to see him, especially since he has over 2,000 gas. But he's got a little bit more of a bigger issue right now. We see another huge marine force is pushing forward. He does spot him with this creep tumor and the spreading creep. A stem forward does manage to knock him off that surround, and wow, this without medevac support, stim is going to be very difficult to know when to use them. Sieging up is those siege tanks. They make themselves a nice little wall, and they're just going to hang out for a second, and then it looks like he's going to go ahead and bunny hop his way across the enemy lines and deeper into the enemy territory. He's just going to go ahead and push forward with one tank, siege up, push forward with another, and so on and so forth. He's finally decided to split up his Marines. He doesn't want a big baneling ball to just take them all out completely, and it looks like there's going to be a nice little counterattack by Sog. He's just going to move a pack of Zerglings behind the enemy and just attack the third expansion, I would say, of Requiem. We see Requiem pushing forward with just a couple of Marines just to see exactly what's going on, but really the damage being done is at home. He managed to take down quite a few amount of workers, and then there is these Marines charging forward to try to mop up this Zergling attack. But really what Requiem is doing is just buying himself some time, pulling out those Mutalisks. No infestors just yet on the field of play. Finally, the Banelings do get into it. He managed to focus down most of the Zerglings. The Banelings do a ton amount of damage, and there is nothing to support these siege tanks now. They do have a nice spread, but the Zerglings are just too quick, too mobile, too nimble, and those siege tanks go down very, very quickly. So that Baneling ball was fantastically done by Sog, taking out a lot of the Marines, and those Zerglings were able to come in and finish off the job. And now Requiem is in a bit of a hurt. He needs to lift off. He does lift off, and this entire little expansion is going to go down. 4 supply depots are going to go down. These refineries are going to go down, and the Zerglings are streaming in by the packful. Still, it doesn't look like he's researched any sort of upgrades quite just yet. He does have quite a bit of energy on these queens, so he's been basically just attacking with these Zerglings, making sure he's defending, making sure he's doing his thing. And Requiem is in a bit of a pickle. He's putting up missile turrets since he did see those Mutalisks on the field of play, and these destructible rocks are going to be taken down just to allow Sog to have that much more freedom of movement. And right now, the supply clamp is about where you would expect after that decimating Baneling attack. So more Banelings are being morphed in, another huge ball of Marines, but they are really low on health. Finally, medevacs are on the field of play to finally begin healing these weakened units, and with this medevacs, Requiem is getting a bit too ballsy. He doesn't want to get himself caught out of position. Yet again, a small Zergling is pushed forward to see exactly what's going on. But if Sog actually pushed forward with the amount of Zerglings he had and the amount of Banelings, those Banelings would have done a ton of damage to these Marines, and I believe they would have finished off these 3 siege tanks and no problem whatsoever. And it looks like Requiem finally does manage to retake his third, but back in base Zog, we still see one in. It looks like we saw the +50 energy for the infestors were put down. A couple were produced, and I'm not sure where the rest of them are hanging out. There we go. Finally see a ton of infestors once those medevacs came in. Sog just switched up, use those that huge gas pileup that he had and built those infestors. Right now we actually see quite a bit, actually 1 2 3 9 infestors with a huge Baneling count, and this is going to be bad for Requiem. A full surround does manage to catch them. Banelings get into it. Fungal growth finishes them off very quickly. Another fungal growth just to lock down this medevac in place. 2 infested Terrans are going to go ahead and finish off the job. Why not? And this is a small force Very small force for Requiem. We already see 165 supply for Sog, only 130 barely for Requiem, and he looks like he's just going to go ahead and try to do some sort of drop, some sort of harassment, just to buy himself some time to re-macro up his army, because right now it's a bit in shambles, and with these infestors on the field to play, and this huge amount of banelings, it's going to rip through most of Requiem's army, and at the same time, it looks like Sog is taking his, looks like his 4th base right now, so he is doing very well for himself right now, and Requiem is just he has his back up against a wall. There are no Thors to handle those banelings. There are no marauders anywhere on the field to play. He's just sticking with the siege tanks, just sticking with the pure Marines, and Sog has everything to counter that. He does have those Zerglings, he has those banelings to be able to rip through all those Marines, and he does have the infestors to lock anything down with the fungal growths. So right now Sog has the perfect counter for Requiem. There is a small drop happening in the back, but this is really just to distract Sog to keep his army at the main base, so Requiem has his chance to re-macro up his army. It looks like a couple of Marines did manage to go down, but that's not the purpose of that attack. Was just to delay and give himself some time, and it looks like Sog is just bouncing around back and forth, making sure nothing too crazy is going to happen. This second drop did fail. This one more, boom, medevac does manage to go down. Requiem is trying to take his 4th, but right now, once the engagement happens, which is going to happen, I would say very, very soon, it's going to go in Sog's favor, unless he does manage to do a huge blunder. There are no units being produced except for the 46 that just got queued up, so this attack is going to happen. Finally, the Zerglings are going to push forward to try to scout out the positioning of those siege tanks, and they're just going to go ahead and go back home. Now he knows exactly where the army of Requiem is, and a small army it is. Once those banelings get into the fray, I'm interested to see exactly what the outcome is. It looks like Sog's army is maxed out. He does take the route behind him, goes behind enemy lines, going to push forward, take out anything he could possibly plan. These guys are just on a move, going to go ahead and take those tank kills very easily. Marines try to stem forward to try to do some sort of damage, but this is just too many Marines. Too many Zerglings. They go into the into the SCVs, are trying to take down anything and everything they can. That's a lot of Zerglings that aren't attacking. Finally, they actually do decide to attack. A nice positioning by Requiem, whether that was on purpose or not, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. But again, the swarming capabilities of the Zerg, he's re-macroed up to about 200 supply. Another 38, 30. There it goes. Zerglings finally do pop. Requiem spots this 5th base of Sog, and he doesn't want to let it out of his hand, slip through his fingers, but the Zerglings are there to pay the price for this misclick, and I would say a good misclick. That Sog should push forward, attack, and then take his main army and just sandwich him in, and this looks like exactly what he's doing. He's a little bit too late to the party. The banelings are there. They're rolling forward. A nice split by Requiem to try to save himself as much damage as possible, but there is just too many banelings on the field of play. They completely shred the Marine count, and the infestors do lock down a couple of these medevacs with fungal growths. Infested Terrans are going to go ahead and push forward to see if they could catch up with this army, but nope, too little, too late. These infested Terrans are going to go down fairly quickly. Fungal growths on these Marines. It does do the job, finishes them off. Another lockdown fungal growth on this medevac, but no infested Terrans take it down. Almost there. One does manage to scoot it off, but again, the supply count is huge for Sog. Another 16 Zerglings are on the field, are being produced, but already there's a huge pack of Zerglings going to go and attack the vulnerable 4th base of Requiem. These SCVs have no chance at all. A fungal growth does lock a few in place, but really there is nothing there for Requiem. This command center is going to go down eventually as soon as these Zerglings decide to attack, and Requiem does manage to do another drop at the base of Zog, but really this is just a delaying tactic, but the damage has been dealt. This game is, I would say, over in a few seconds, especially with Ultralisks are on the field of play. Sog doesn't have that many minerals, but he can seal up for a couple of cycles. And ooh, a nice fungal growth on these Marines, and a couple fungal growths on these Marines as well, but the Zerglings are just got shredded immensely. The Marine count is too high. The Marines are at 2-3, so that was that was a bit of a blunder by Sog. He threw away a lot of these units by pushing forward, and it looks like the upgrade count is in favor of Requiem. He is at 2-3, almost 3-3, a stim forward, a free Ultralisk kill, and these Marines are going to push forward and see what damage they can do. They are all in the red, but and both of these medevacs are fairly low on energy. Another push forward by Sog. He's going to try to catch anything with these Banelings. The Banelings finally do get into the Marines. The Corruptors are chasing away the medevacs. The Zerglings do pick off stray Marines here and there, and finally Requiem is forced to put himself into a corner. He does try to micro away and do as much damage with that stutter step, but when it's all said and done, the total right now is 115 food supply to 109 of Sog. And like I was saying, he's the mineral count has just plummeted again because another 36 Zerglings just managed to pop, and these Marines are going to go ahead and chase away this Ultralisk and these couple of Corruptors. A single Thor on the field to play, and finally the Thors are there to deal with these Banelings. They could tank those Banelings for days, but if those Banelings are ready for this encounter, Sog is, I doubt it. Finally, this base does go down for Sog, and it looks like Requiem, that was his entire plan. He just wanted to take out that base and is going to go ahead and go home. So this is going back and forth. I miscalled it earlier, but hey, way to prove me wrong, Requiem. Thanks a lot. Big ol' thumbs up. Those siege tanks do manage to get are locked out of position. The Banelings are trying to chase down these Marines. A nice little split by Requiem. And it looks like the Ultralisk is going to try to take out. Couldn't take down 3. Could take down 2, but not 3. And another fresh stream of Zerglings are going to try to push forward. It looks like there's going to be plenty of damage being done by these Ultralisks. So right now there's 2 Ultralisks left. Requiem is trying to micro these Marines back and forth, try to keep them away from these Ultralisks. And finally the Ultralisk does go down. There's only a couple of Corruptors there to try to shoo away these medevacs, but finally another reinforcement swell of Zerglings do manage to surround these Zerglings and pick up on that Thor, and Requiem is forced to retreat and head back home. This is morphed into Planetary Fortress, so that base is going to be safe for quite a bit. Sog finally looks like he's going to wait to get a couple more minerals to retake this base, but why not? He's going to go ahead and take this base. Since this avenue of attack has been unused this entire match, why not take that? And in fact, I think the only time that attack path has been used was when Sog himself was unit, so he feels kind of safe taking this. 27 more Banelings are being morphed in, while 18-20 more Zerglings are being popped. And Requiem is just going to go ahead and take this Zelnaga Tower, scatter around and see exactly what's going on, picking off creep tumors left and right, just trying to keep Sog in the dark. He's scanning for to make sure exactly what's inside Zog's 4th base, and already the drones are pulled back to prevent any kind of damage coming in. And siege tanks are not sieged up. The Banelings do get into the main army of Requiem, but again, the splits by Requiem saves most of the Marine count, and right now Sog is trying to reinforce his army with another steady swell of Zerglings, but that is no go. The numbers are just too thin, especially with a single siege tank providing most of the damage. It is in the rear. The siege tank does get surrounded. It's going to be taken down fairly quickly, but so is the 4th base of Sog, and that's it. Requiem actually manages not to kill off this hatchery. I see another little drop right here just to finish off this base, but Requiem is just going to hang around, going to go ahead and drop into the main base just to see exactly what kind of damage he can do. I'd actually like to see him attack here once the Zergling force gets into here, pick up, go home, and on his way back home, take out this hatchery. Baleen manages to take down a couple of Marines, but the Ultralisk Cavern is going to go down. Sog is just back and forth trying to negotiate all of these attacks, and Requiem is just attacking where Sog isn't and letting this main base get destroyed. Another stream of Marines are going to push forward to try to take out this 3rd, and it looks like Sog's army is in shambles. He barely has 100 food. He's going to lose this base. He's going to lose his base, and right now it looks like Requiem is going to be the winner. So a very close game, very back and forth. Even if Sog manages to stop this attack, he didn't have the resources enough to be able to continually keep attacking and committing the game. So that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was an excellent game to cast, and I had fun with it. If there's a replay you'd like for me to do of one of your own, just upload it to one of the major replay sites, and I'll see what I can do. Other than that, I'm out of here. God damn.